Welcome to the Greener Gifting Gang podcast, the show that delves into the reasons we love to choose, wrap, and share gifts with each other. Hi, I'm your host, Eve Kale, founder of Gift Wrapped by Eve, and I'm on a mission to help you experience the joy of gift giving while also considering the planet. Each episode, I'll be sharing ideas or interviewing guests who will help inspire your choice of gifts and how you present them. Whether that's for your own gifts or products you create or sell in your small business, we'll help you consider how to make small changes that can help your gifting be a little greener. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Greener Gifting Gang podcast. And today I've got another guest with me, and today I'm going to be talking to Danielle from Jam Jar Travel. And yeah, let's get into it. Let's get started. Danielle, perhaps you could introduce yourself to the listeners and explain how we came to be here.
Absolutely. Thanks, Eve, and thanks for having me on here. It's my pleasure to be here. So my name is Danielle Howell. We actually, from the time of recording right now, I think it was about 6 or so months ago that we actually first met and first started talking about this. So we met at the Home Life and You show, which happens at the Excel Centre every year. I've actually spoken there twice, and last year I was exhibiting, and we kind of just bumped into each other, didn't we? And started chatting because it's the best event for that kind of community and meeting people. I love it. And I'll be there again next year. Hopefully you will too. So I look forward to seeing you there. So we just started talking, didn't we? And we had lots in common, and we found that actually this would be a great thing to come and just have a chat.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So what were you doing at the Home Life and You show? You were there with your business this time. You weren't a speaker, is that right?
That's right. Yes, exactly that. So I decided to take the plunge this year and actually exhibit, which I hadn't done before. And the objective of it was just to get out there, talk to people about my business, what I do. And I spoke to people because I have two sides of my business. Jam Jar Travel is my travel agency. I'm an independent travel agent. So I book all sorts of things from hotels, theatre tickets, transfers at the airport, everything from the whole package. But I also grow a team of people who also want to build businesses. Sometimes it's just a case of people want a bit of extra cash, so they want to become an independent travel agent for themselves. Or some people want to grow life-changing businesses, which I love, and I'm very, very happy to mentor people in that sense. And I love seeing the journeys that they're on. So yeah, I have two sides of the business. So when I was there exhibiting, I was kind of talking about both sides really. And actually I had a couple of people who have started their own travel businesses since that day. And it's so lovely just to see how they're doing it, because everybody does it so differently. You think a travel agent is just a travel agent, but it's actually really interesting to see the different ways people are creating businesses and doing very, very different things. So yeah, I'm very, very proud to do what I do, and I absolutely love it, which is a real pleasure, having come from corporate where I enjoyed it, but it wasn't quite the same. When you're doing something for yourself, it's very, very different.
Yeah, it is very different, isn't it, when you can see that every small thing that you do, has an impact on your success or not. Sometimes, that you're kind of in charge, don't you? So, yeah, it's fab. I mean, Home Life and You is such a varied show, isn't it? I think you were next to the person that I was working with from Easy Wraps, and so they could be, more different. There are lots of different exhibitors, but it's a really friendly show. I definitely found that, and talked to so many really interesting different people who were there for lots of different reasons. I've got a couple of previous episodes. If you're interested in hearing more about Home Life and You, just go and have a little look through, and I'll put the links to those in the show notes actually, so that people can find them easily. So we're here today to talk about your own gifting. That's what this sort of chat is about. Let's get started. And what kind of occasions do you tend to give gifts for? Are you a big gifter?
Do you know what? There's definitely a theme. I was thinking about this as I was preparing, and there is a theme. There is a me before children, and there is a me now.
Yeah,
And
okay.
I have to say, in terms of gifting, it's quite a shift actually. I do really love gifting. I love gifting more than I love receiving, I have to say.
Okay.
And I love seeing people's expressions when they open things. I don't know about you, at Christmas, when I've over the years, you meet partners and you join them for Christmas Day and you see how they do Christmas.
Yeah.
And there are times where I've been with people who just crazily open all the presents, and I'm sitting there not opening anything, just looking around and taking it all in. And people are saying, "Why aren't you opening your presents?" The answer is because I really enjoy watching everybody unwrap it and seeing their
Yeah.
response. There's been times where I've actually missed other people opening presents from me, and I feel so disappointed because I missed that moment.
Yeah.
So I do love it. But I have to say, yes, so going back to what I was saying with the children, pre-children, I would love spending a lot of time and effort on, making, well, firstly, the shopping for it, really sourcing the right gift, and then the effort of making something look really, really pretty and having a real pride of giving that gift to somebody. But since children, I have to admit, the process of buying a present is now a lot harder because the time is so much more limited and they don't want to walk around the shops browsing as much as I do. And I would say the whole process of wrapping as well, it's very much a time thing for me. I find I have so much less time now, and my business as well, since having the children is when I've taken on my business. So I guess that probably contributes to the time limitation. I do still really love it. It's just a slightly different experience to what it used to be, for sure.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I hear that quite a lot on the podcast when I've talked to people about it, and it is, it is something that, we've got to make different priorities, haven't we? It doesn't mean that you care less. It's just that you have to do things in a different way, like a
Absolutely.
different way. So what kinds
Mm.
of things have you done differently so you still feel like you're going through that process of choosing the right gift?
I think there's a couple of other things maybe that have factored into this, thinking about it. I do think nowadays people tend to just buy things when they want them.
Okay.
So when you're thinking, what could I buy somebody? Quite often it's, well, they would just buy that for themselves. So why would I buy it? What value would that give? And me and my other half have often had debates about it when he says, let's just get so and so a voucher. And I think, oh, that doesn't have the same meaning for me.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that's also a factor where I'm trying to look for. Perhaps I've moved, I think, to more experiential. That's a word, isn't it?
Yeah.
Experiential gifts rather than materialistic things. But
Mhm.
I do still like that giving of something. So I like to try and create a nice voucher and get some design on it, and still wrap it nicely. Or I have sometimes gone a bit probably OTT for somebody who's opening a voucher where I've created, almost like a pass the parcel where there's lots of wrapping and lots of
Yeah.
different things just to find a voucher. But I just think it makes it a little bit more interesting than just. And sometimes, an email, sometimes people just get an email and say, here's your present. I have kind of stepped away from that. But yeah, I think definitely moving towards more experiential. I definitely do a lot more of the shopping online now, let's be honest, in
Yeah.
terms of actually finding the gifts. I do really love to give personalized gifts as well. I think where you can give something that, again, I wouldn't go somewhere and get for example, I bought my sister a necklace. She lives in New Zealand, and I bought her a compass necklace and I got it engraved on the back. And I know she wears it every single day, and that brings me so much pleasure.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't go and get myself a necklace engraved, for myself. So that's something that, again, she wouldn't have bought for herself.
Yeah.
So I think those kind of gifts that are that little bit more personal, and things, as I say, that you just wouldn't buy for yourself, that for me is a gift rather than just something you need, buying for the sake of buying something.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, definitely resonate with both of those things, definitely. And they are themes that seem to come up. And I'm a big fan of experience gifts. And I have definitely done that pass the parcel thing for you
It's
guys.
not just me, good.
Just to make it more interesting. So we've over the last few years given experience gifts to the children at Christmas because they just do tend to get a lot of stuff. Maybe a little bit less now they're a tiny bit older, but we sort of started doing it a few years ago. And yeah, I like to wrap things up in big boxes and surprise them with whatever it is inside, or theme the gift. Sometimes when we did the Monopoly experience, I wrapped it up different bits of the Monopoly set.
Brilliant.
Um,
I love
to
that.
kind of give hints to what the present was going to be. Yeah, so I love being creative like that. But I mean, you don't always have to do that to give a good experience gift. So I gave my friend for her 40th birthday this week, I made a card, and I'm taking her out for coffee and cake next week. So that's an experience gift, but I didn't create something. I just popped it in an envelope, but I've made the card this time. I think there is something about that. I mean, in Home Life with You, there was a lot of talk about stuff, wasn't there? And
Mm.
decluttering and home
Mm.
organization. So, yeah, do you think that comes into it as well?
For sure. Yeah, I think I'm definitely trying to declutter. I've probably been trying to declutter for years, actually, when I think about it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
an ongoing process. Yeah, and I think there's also something I always think at Christmas time, and my other half, or people will say to me, well, what do you want? Or, what's your list? And I could send a list of things, but there is that nice thing of actually getting a surprise as well, isn't there?
yeah, 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 exactly. And that's why, when it comes to those experience gifts, we're trying to disguise what it is, aren't we?
Mm.
And give people that moment of surprise. I know exactly what you mean, because there's a real like balance, isn't there, between people wanting to give you what you need or what you
Mm.
want, but also, um, I think there's a fear of disappoint. People are worried about people being disappointed, and so we've kind of got to this point where people demand lists, which is so lovely. It's so lovely that people want to give you things, but you're right. So have you got any memories of good surprise gifts that you've had over the years?
That's a good question. And I can't think of anything right now that's coming to my mind, which doesn't say very much, does it? The one thing I do remember from as a child, I do
Yeah,
remember a Christmas when as a child, we used to go to church on Christmas Day in the morning, and we wouldn't be able to open our presents till we got back. And so I would often sit at the tree and analyze the presents to
yeah,
see if I could guess what it might be. And I do remember one year my mum actually bought so many small things, but put them in this huge box, all wrapped individually. So I had this huge box under the tree, and I was sitting there thinking, what could this possibly be? All these big items. And then obviously to open it,
yeah,
perhaps there may have been a moment of disappointment of thinking, oh, it's not any of those things I thought. But obviously, then seeing all these different presents that I then went through and spent hours opening was
yeah,
actually obviously memorable, because I talk about it,
yeah, yeah.
sticks in my mind. But surprise gifts.
I think that's really interesting about the big box, because they people often talk about, children like to play with the box. They don't really care
Mm.
what's in the box. I think that's really interesting, because I think it's part of the process as a child. You're just really excited that you get to open something.
Mm.
You don't really mind what's in it. And then as we get older, maybe we do start to mind a little bit more. And sometimes it's just about the fact that people have thought of you, and we need to maybe go back to that a little bit more.
Yeah, I definitely feel, particularly with Christmas, it's perhaps turned a little bit into you have to buy because you have to buy, not because you really want to. It's just, well, it's Christmas and that's what everybody does. And I think that's quite sad, actually. I think I would love to try and go back to the thinking of we really want to treat the people that we care about
Yeah.
with something that represents that. Often it's when I think about last Christmas, that was all of the kids' preschool, childminder. I actually made up some hampers. I ordered some baskets and some I don't think the right word is, like organza type material. And I just put in there just lots of little bits that I found, to be honest, mostly in the supermarket as I was doing the online shopping, but little bits, but it all meant something for those people. And I thought they could treat themselves. There was some, face masks and nice hot chocolate, things like that. Yeah, it just felt so much more something for them, that I really wanted to say thank you for everything that you do for the children, rather than just, oh, I have to buy something for the teachers because that's
Yeah,
what we do. It's
yeah,
it's a real shift in your mind, isn't it?
yeah, absolutely that. It is. Yeah, yeah. Wanting to show people that you care about them. And it doesn't matter if it's, it doesn't have to be something expensive in order to show them that. I love the idea of creating a hamper with those kind of things in, especially potentially the people that are helping you with your kids have also maybe got kids and busy lives of their own. And
Mm,
although you might buy something practical that you need, you're less likely to maybe buy something that's a treat like that.
mm.
So I think that's a really lovely way of saying thank you.
Absolutely. I do also gift all of my clients, my travel clients, when they go away. I do love to
Okay.
create bespoke gifts for them, because all my clients again are different, and it I really enjoy that. Again, that's really a way of me saying thank you for booking with me, because they could have gone online, they could have gone anywhere, but I really appreciate the fact that they have come to me for their business, and I hope that they feel special by booking with me as an independent agent, as opposed to just going on a website and, just ticking some boxes and putting their card details in and it's done. I really want it to be an experience for them rather than just a process.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do love it. I've got some branded wrapping paper type thing and stickers, and I've actually got a reel on my Instagram where I reversed me actually doing some wrapping of that personalized gift for one of my clients, and so many people came back with comments to say, oh, I love that, that's so nice, and I do enjoy that process. And if there's children in there, getting some little cute personalized drawing and activity packs that I have made by somebody for them if they're going on the flight. I always think that's a good thing, isn't it, to help distract some time. But yeah, I really enjoy that process as well. And again, it's morely about the gratitude side of things rather than an expectation.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's so lovely that you do that. I bet it makes it really memorable for them as well. They'll definitely remember you for doing that. I've never experienced anything like that. That's
You've not been booking your holidays with the right person, Eve.
well, no, that is true. Obviously not. Obviously not. That's amazing. I love that. I really love that. It just shows you that gifting just goes across so many different things. It's not just the things
Mm,
that immediately spring to mind, like Christmas and birthday. There are just so many aspects um, that that we gift for.
mm.
We're such prolific gift givers.
It's so true. And I think that for me, some of the most memorable gifting is that spontaneous gifting. I've had some friends who have had some challenging times, and I just thought, oh, you know what, I'll just send them, you've got treat box online and all different ways of just flowers or chocolates or whatever it is you want to send. I love to just do that for people so they feel that they are being thought about, even if I can't physically be there because of life or sometimes, distance, whatever it may be. I just think it comes back to that element of surprise, gratitude, being thought about,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So you do quite a lot of your shopping online now, or most of your gift shopping online. Do you kind of have a list of go to places that you choose from?
I think I do. I have to say, quite often I'll add a few bits on when I'm doing the supermarket shop. That depends where I'm shopping, of course. I think yeah, there's the companies like Treatbox where they'll make up boxes based on the person and what the occasion is. And
Yeah.
that can be quite handy because that's a bit of personalization without you needing to, yeah, how do I explain that? You're not just picking off something off the shelf, you're going and choosing the items to go in that box. And I really love that as well, going back to what we've already said a few times about that personalization side of things. But yeah, I don't know that I do have a typical go-to place, to be honest. If it's experiences, as a travel agent, we have access to all of that stuff as well. So lots of events, theatre tickets, concert tickets, events that are happening at the O2, for example. We get lots of days out and stuff like that that we can book. So actually, that's really beneficial for me to be able to just get access to that. And then, I see some good deals and I think, who could that be good for? What occasion's coming up? So yeah, that's also really helpful. But I don't think I have any other general go-tos, to be honest.
Well, that sounds like is it good to have like a few, like a little short list, I guess, of going, oh, maybe I'll go this way or that way. And
Mm,
I do like those like boxes, online box companies where you feel like you've got some autonomy over what you're choosing, but
mm,
actually they have done the short list of what the items could be for you.
yeah.
Because often we default to an easy option because we haven't got time to the brain space to do the
Mm,
choosing. And I think that's why companies like this work really well, because they're sort of half doing it half for you, but they're still allowing you to make those choices.
mm,
So you still feel like you've been thoughtful. And
absolutely.
I think that's really ticking the box. So I definitely use those kind of companies myself. And then,
Mm,
most of them are small, relatively small companies as well. So you're
mm.
supporting small businesses too.
Absolutely. And I do also like to sometimes do those where they deliver maybe every month or every couple of months, so that it's like a gift that keeps on giving, isn't it? You give that first one, maybe physically, but then also they get something that keeps coming to them every month. And I've had that before, actually. Oh, going back to your question earlier, what was this good surprise gift?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
my sister who lives in New Zealand, she sent me something once, and that was one of these things that just every month I got a new item, and it was all really sustainable because she's very, very much on the sustainable side of things. And it was really lovely handmade items. And I just remember I got this beautiful blanket one month, and I got like a kitchen plate another month, all these really unusual items. But it was that thing of every month the parcel would come and I think, what am I going to get? Because it was always something completely different. So
Yeah.
that goes back to the question that I can answer now.
That's a great example.
Mm.
Yeah, subscription boxes are brilliant for that. And then you get at the you get that element of surprise every month, extends the gift, and it's brilliant if you can't be if you're not able to give something in person. I mean, and she's obviously given it to you from another country. That was the beauty of the being able to order online and send internationally. Brilliant
Absolutely. Yeah.
example. Fantastic. So, when it comes to the wrapping of the gifts, how do you feel about that? I mean, you said, I think, at the beginning that you used to spend more time on it.
Mm.
Yeah, so tell me a bit about that.
For sure, I definitely did. Probably I still do it a little bit at Christmas, and I tell you why. It's an aesthetic thing. I do like under the tree to see all of the presents really nicely wrapped. So I still manage to get away with doing that. I tend to end up spending most evenings in December when the kids have gone to bed sitting and wrapping. And we've now got a bit of a process where my other half, he'll do the main wrapping and I'll do the prettifying of the bows and all of that stuff
Mhm.
after, because he's not interested in any of that stuff. But yeah, I definitely used to spend a lot more time with the ribbon and curling it all and making it look really nice with lovely labels. Now it is more of a quick, there's a party and we need to wrap something
Okay, yeah,
in 10 minutes we've got to go. So yeah, it's often lastminute.com over here with the wrapping. But I do enjoy it. I really do enjoy it. And I think I've tried, particularly Christmas is an easier one, I think, because there's a lot, isn't there, to do to wrap. So I tend to dedicate time to it. I tend to try and create a nice ambience, put on some Christmas music, getting in that vibe, because that's part of that experience, isn't it? Whereas birthdays, it's, as I say, it's more quick. We've got, one present to wrap. And I should dedicate more time to it, but you're not sitting and doing a whole session of wrapping. So it's different in that process of that experience. And you can't really put birthday music on to wrap birthday presents. It doesn't have the same experience, does it? So yeah, but definitely since having the children, it's less of a priority. The
yeah,
gift, I think, is more the priority now. I do try, but I'm not going to lie, it just doesn't happen all the time anymore.
yeah, yeah, totally understandable. And I think, even I find that I do things at the last minute, because just life, isn't it? I mean, and as you say, at Christmas, it's that because you've got a bulk of wrapping to do, you've got to be organized. But when it's one gift, you think, well, I'll just get that done, won't I? So
Mm.
often it does end up being just before you've got to give the gift. Yeah. And when I do allocate time to it, I do enjoy it more. And for me, it's, an opportunity to take pictures and make videos and things like that when I need to wrap something. So I do try and make time to do it, but even I am a last minute wrapper sometimes.
That makes me feel a little better.
Yeah, well, I've also got the pressure that people want to see something that looks good. They expect it. So I've got to make sure I deliver the goods.
Yeah, for sure. No one expects anything from me now, so that I don't have that pressure. Yeah, I can understand that.
So this podcast is all about trying to be a little bit greener wherever we can. So have you ever considered being greener with your gifting or with your wrapping?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? So I always used to be the person who would be taking the wrapping paper that somebody had just discarded. If it looked like in decent condition, I would have always taken it, folded it up nicely and repurposed it. But I definitely think now people are less careful when they're opening. So generally it's, in tatters and bits and pieces and totally non-reusable. But I do like to try and reuse where I can. I use a lot of gift bags now and I have a stash of them where I get them and I then pass those on, because quite often they're just used, aren't they, to transport the gift. They're not actually used enough that they get in a way that you couldn't repurpose them. So yeah, always repurposing the gift bags. But in terms of actually what I buy to wrap them in, I have to admit, I generally just, it is again going back to the same theme as what we said. I'm often shopping and think, I need some wrapping paper quick, let's just get what I can see on the shelf. I don't tend to be, I mean, like we talked about earlier at Home Life and You, Sue, who was next to me, her wrapping was obviously very sustainable and beautiful. And I have to say, until that day, it would never have even come into my mind to wrap in the way that she did. So that was really lovely to see different ways of doing it. Have I changed my ways since having been next to her for that 2 days? No, I haven't, because again, it's just sitting and thinking about it and it's
Yeah.
usual last minute. I definitely, it's there on the radar, but not enough for me to
Yeah.
go all in on being really, really sustainable with it.
Yeah. I think it's about finding the small changes that you can make, and not trying to do it all at once, because, that doesn't fit with life, does it? We talked about how before we were on the recording about busy lives with small children. It's hard to kind of to do all of those things. So it's finding maybe one thing that you can swap to, making sure when you're grabbing the paper, you're getting one that's recyclable, which is much, much easier now because
Mm.
the high street have changed what they're offering, so that is easier. Another easy swap is swapping to paper tape, which is less easy to find on the high street, but hopefully that will change at some point. And yeah, what Sue was offering with her easy wraps is that next step again, isn't it? And I think, if you tried to do it all at once, it might not last. And that's, that the whole kind of eco movement is about making small changes are that stick, that more
I'll
people
manage.
do. Yeah, exactly, exactly. And it's got to
Yeah.
fit in with our lives, otherwise we won't carry on doing them.
I love that. And that applies to everything, doesn't it, really, in life? When I think about the business and how everybody's growing their business, it's exactly the same concept of just small changes. So I completely understand and resonate with that one.
Yeah, definitely. I did have one more question to ask you about the travel business actually, and whether people gift each other holidays, because we talked about, experiences like the concert tickets or the theatre tickets, which I think
Mm.
is something people do more now. But how about booking holidays? Do you get people doing that for surprise gifts or gifts that they know about?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. And I've had definitely where people say honeymoons, for example, where people want to take an amazing trip but just can't afford to. So they've inquired about the trip that they would love, the dream trip. But there's the logistical part of it, which is challenging, of everybody paying me. And then, how do we manage that for them? So quite often I have had a couple where they've come to me, got a rough price for something, and then they ask for money to contribute to that. So it's not me managing the gifting side, but they are asking for that money to contribute to that, which makes sense. But in terms of actually gifting a holiday, I think it's a tough one. You couldn't do it really as a surprise, could you? Because there's so much involved in it.
Yeah.
But I have before given out gift vouchers. That's another way of doing it. I'll quite often throw gift vouchers into raffles at various places, usually children's preschool events and things like
Yeah.
that, just to help, as again, a way of saying, thank you, and being part of something. That's a way of doing it. So yeah, we always see people doing that. I have one of my agents in the team, she regularly is doing the event days and activity days, things like a tour at the Emirates Stadium in London. She booked up for one of her child's friends' birthdays and booked it for her child as well. So they had like a big family day out, but it was actually the birthday present and he was over the moon with that. So there's different ways of doing it, but yeah, it's definitely part of it for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a great example of different ways of doing the experience gifts and a different way of incorporating gifting into things that you offer for your customers as well. So
Absolutely, yeah.
fab. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that with us. Brilliant. Oh, it's been so lovely to chat with you, Danielle, and a really different perspective on things, and great to hear about the travel business as well. Where can people find out more about what you do? Share with us. your socials, or where can people find you?
Yeah, I generally am on Instagram, like most of the world, I think, at the moment. I do have Facebook, but me and Facebook don't get on. I much prefer Instagram. So I'm on there. My handle is I am Danielle Howell. So that's DanielleHowell. I'm sure you'll pop a link in the show notes for me.
You
There
will,
we go. Thank you.
definitely.
But yeah, I'm on there mostly talking about the travel business and how people can benefit from it themselves. But I do book travel for people as well. So yeah, feel free to connect and reach out to me. It'd be lovely to connect with you all.
Brilliant. Thanks so much. We'll put everything in the show notes so that people can come and find you. It's been lovely chatting. Thank you.
Thanks, Eve.
Thank you for listening to the Greener Gifting Gang podcast. For free resources, head to giftwrappedyeve.com/freebies and follow Eve on socials at giftwrapbyeve on Instagram and Facebook.